Hey baddies! Girl, I miss you. Oh my god. I feel like this is honestly the longest time that we have gone without connecting. Like, ever since I started my channel, I'm having serious withdrawals. But honestly, the new year and everything has just been so crazy, the holidays and all of that. But I'm hoping that you started your new year right with your affirmations and your manifestations and all of that, because 2020 was a mess, okay? A hot mess. I feel like 2020 was hating on all of us, so you know we need to have new energy in 2021, if you feel what I'm saying. So today, I'm actually going to be getting ready with you while I tell you a crazy story of the time where I had to pay on my first date with this person, okay? It was, you guys have to understand, all right? You'll understand once I go through the story why this was such a shock. Not only did I have to pay, but it was because he forgot his wallet, okay? So yeah, we're gonna get into that. The story is insane, but before we do that, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a health and beauty tip because after all, this is a beauty channel. Okay, so chop it up with me real quick. All right, so have you ever eaten something greasy, like some type of junk food or something like that, and your skin pays the price, your hair, your nails, all of that, you're just not looking your best? Well, that's because you are what you eat, all right? So we have to start making better habits internally to make sure that, you know, we're glowing on the outside. And Bellway Beauty helps with that. Bellway Beauty supplements are made up of fiber and collagen. Fiber has a lot of benefits for your skin, making sure you don't break out, your hair, your nails, and it can also help you stay full longer. And everybody knows about collagen. That's what makes you stay youthful. It decreases all the wrinkles and protects your skin. So Bellway Beauty is super easy to use, guys. First of all, they have a variety of flavors. Right now, I'm using strawberry lemonade, which is delicious. And like I said, it's so easy. All you have to do is mix it with a little bit of water, or you can even blend it in a smoothie and drink it immediately. And you can do this 1 to 3 times a day. So simple and 100% worth the results. They also have Bellway Fiber if you guys are interested in taking care of your gut health a little bit more. So if you guys are interested in this, you know what it is. I put the link in my description. You guys can use my code to get 25% off. You know I love to put you guys on to all my little beauty secrets.
It's crazy, but let's go. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I don't care if it snows. I guess I'm out of my mind. Take me back to Manhattan, back to the city where the magic happens. You wear a suit and tie and I will wear my satin. When all the lights are bright and we won't even.
All right, baddies, so let's get into this story, okay? So one thing that you guys need to know is that this story takes place in South Beach. A lot of you guys already probably know this, but I'm actually from Miami. That's where I grew up. That's where I went through my teenage years, and this story takes place there, okay? One thing that you have to know, though, is South Beach, all right, is, I swear, it's like the capital of rented cars, rented houses, rented girls, and so much more, all right? It's ridiculous. Like, it's really hard to be able to tell who's actually living that rich, famous lifestyle and who's just renting everything. They are the #1 place for wannabe ballers, okay? Basically, in Miami, I'm telling you, the guys catfish more than the girls do, okay? I mean, I don't know, that might be a close tie because the girls, you know, in Miami, everything's fake. You know, nobody just believes in natural beauty, which, you know, it's for some people. Not to knock surgeries or anything, but that's what Miami's known for. Fake bodies and fake ballers, period. So one weekend, you know, I'm on South Beach because that was the thing to do, walk around South Beach in little bikinis and stuff like that, especially when I was like at this age, you know, like that was the hangout spot, South Beach, which was pretty lit, you know, to grow up in that area. So I'm with my homegirl and, you know, we're walking around and stuff, and this guy pulls up in this nice car. When I say nice, I'm talking about I have never seen anything like this. You know, I mean, probably a few minutes before I saw something like this drive by, because like I said, you see all foreign cars on South Beach, but I've never drove anything like this, I guess I should say. All right, this car probably costs at least, I don't even know, like a few $100,000, maybe $500,000. It's insane. So the guy pulls up, he starts talking to my friend and I. And, you know, I'm just like, whatever, you know, I liked his car, but I wasn't even really that interested in him. I wasn't ever really easily swayed by things, but then at the same time, I was young. I was, you know, excited about being out the house and all of that, okay? So he asked me on a date, all right? And I was hesitant because I'm like, I don't really know him. You know, I've never really been on dates like that, like maybe once, but that was like with a friend. Like, I was very new to the scene, okay? So my friend, she's like nudging me. She's like, you know, pinching me and stuff. She's like whispering. You know how friends be like in the background. I'm like, oh my God. So I ended up agreeing to go on this date. We exchanged information and he asked me, am I free the next day? So the next day, all right, it comes, you know, I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was super nervous. I probably took like all day up until the date trying to figure out, like, what am I gonna wear? Because I was like, you know what? I gotta look the part hopping out of this nice car. This is gonna be my first ride in this foreign car. I gotta look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know when you're nervous and you start just like overthinking everything, like, okay, when I get out of the car, I have to be able to like get out comfortably. I don't wanna fall, I don't wanna trip. These heels might be too high. Like, I'm going through it, okay? So it's about an hour before the date and I get a text message from the guy asking me, can I pick him up? Okay. So I'm not gonna act like I wasn't disappointed because I was really looking forward to this ride in this car, but he says that his car was in the shop and I was like, okay, like you were just driving it fine yesterday, but I guess, like, I was very nice then, I guess I would say. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm understanding. I'm like, all right, I'll pick you up. But meanwhile, I'm nervous because at this time I was only about 19. So I pretty much just started driving by myself, okay? I was like, dang, like, now I have to pick him up in my car and I gotta make sure that I can drive safely. You know, when people watch you drive, you just like kind of drive even worse. You just start doing things that you never usually do, like slamming on the brakes or going through stop signs. And yeah. So I was nervous. So I ignored the red flag, which, you know, at that time, I didn't realize that that was a red flag. I was just like, you know, I don't know, like, things happen, I guess. I guess he's just having a bad week, okay? So I pick him up, got there safely, thank God, all right? And to my surprise, we pull up to Prime 112. And Prime 112 at the time was like one of the hottest like spots on South Beach. Everyone would always talk about going there and eating there and stuff, but I never did. It was so expensive. So I'm like, oh my God, we got a Prime 112. I'm like inside. Obviously outside I was playing it off. I was just like, this is nice, you know, like trying to play it off. The ambiance was beautiful in the restaurant, like chandeliers, all that, the whole nine, okay? And you know, he looked really nice too. Like he had tons of chains on, like watches and everything, fake, and smelled amazing. Axe. To top it all off, you know, as soon as we sit down, this guy starts ordering everything on the menu. He's like, have you ever tried this? I'm like, no, like, you know, I haven't really tried anything but McDonald's. Like, I'm new to this, not true to this, okay? He starts ordering everything on the menu. He's like, I'm gonna take one of these. My lady friend, she'd like to try this. She'd like to try this. And I'm just like letting him order. And I was like, oh, that's so dope. Like, you know, he's ordering for me and stuff. Mind you, the cheapest thing on the menu is $25. And that is a bottle of water. You know, when they bring out that expensive glass bottle of water and you're just like, dang, I kind of want to just tap, like, send it back. Baddies, we're legitimately in this restaurant eating good for about 2 hours. It took us forever to finish this food, all right? And the whole time, you know, it's great conversation. It's just flowing and stuff. You know, we're talking our heads off. Well, mainly he was talking his head off about how successful he was, but I was intrigued. I was just like, Then he's talking about how much he likes me and all these places he's visited in the world. And at this time, I haven't been nowhere. And I'm like, oh, this is about to be my future husband. And I'm picturing all the trips we're about to go on. You know, I was on cloud 9. So baddies, my fairy tale date is slowly coming to an end. And I'm like, dang, I just wish this night could last forever. The whole time I'm like texting my homegirl, sending her little updates. Because honestly, if she could have been on this date with us, she would have been. Like, she was so excited for me. Baddies, as we're finishing our food, I noticed that my new friend keeps, you know, looking at the waiter as the food is finishing. And I'm kind of like wondering, like, you know, maybe he's, you know, has an important meeting to go to. Who knows? Like, but he seemed like, you know, he was kind of ready to go. And I was like, oh, okay. Then the strangest thing happens, okay? So when the waiter comes over to bring us the check, now that's pretty strange for someone who just a few minutes ago seemingly was in a huge rush to go. So, you know, I'm still oblivious of what's going on, you know, and I'm just sitting there kind of waiting for him to get back to deal with the check. But then when he gets back, the weirdest thing happens. He starts just continuing to talk while pretending he doesn't see this bill sitting right in front of him. You know, and honestly, let me just set the record straight though, okay? I don't have any issue paying for, you know, dates, okay? Like, if I ask you out on a date or whatever the case may be, I don't mind paying for it, you know? But first of all, I'm gonna ask you somewhere that I know I can afford, all right? And at that time, I wasn't asking nobody on a date. He asked me on a date and then proceeds to take me to the most expensive restaurant in the city. Okay, so I'm like, you know, I think it's pretty obvious that he's expected to pay when he asks me on the date, and he proceeds to go ahead and order everything on the menu. So finally, when I guess he realizes I'm not reaching for the check, he opens the bill, and as he's looking at the bill, he's like patting around in his pockets, like looking in the air as if his wallet magically floated into the universe, and says abruptly, "I forgot my wallet." I literally laughed out loud, y'all. I laughed out loud because I was like, he has to be joking. Like, this is a joke. This is, you're a comedian. This strange man literally just stares at me while I'm laughing with a straight face, like just staring at me. Then I'm like, oh, you're serious? And he's like, yeah, I don't have my wallet. I fell out, okay, inside. I was like, started sweating profusely. Like, I'm starting to look at the exit sign, like, okay, how fast can I bolt out the door and get into my car? My car's in valet. They're gonna have to bring it around. Like, oh, this is all bad. Y'all have to understand, this bill was like $400, and I was 19 years old and didn't even have a job. Like, I had my first credit card that had like a $500 limit on it. Like, I was not prepared for this. So girl, I took out my little credit card and held my breath, hoping that that thing would go through. I was so nervous. Like, I had no idea, you know, because when you get a new credit card, you be like, especially when you first are introduced to credit cards, it almost feels like it's free money. Meanwhile, you gotta pay it all back. And can you believe that he had the nerve to ask me for a ride back? Boy, oh my God, that was the most awkward, silent 10-minute drive ever. I didn't say a word to him. Like, oh, I know that he felt it, okay? And let me just say this. He better be glad that he got teenage Natalie and not adult Natalie, because adult Natalie would have left him there with the bill. Like, what? Like I said, baddies, I'm not even the type of girl that feels like, oh, I could never pay for a date or should never. You know, of course I like to be wined and dined, but, you know, I also like to return that, you know, but this whole situation was insane, okay? Crazy. What I want y'all to do is comment below and tell me some of your craziest first date or date period situations you've been through, because I'm convinced that mine takes the cake. All right, mine was the worst first date ever. And the sad part is it was actually just my first date in general. Like, I had never been on a date before, and this is what set the tone for it. All right, baddies, let's get into this final look now that that horror story is over. Okay, baddies, I hope that you really enjoyed creating this retro bright. It's honestly more of like a summer look, but I wear bright colors all year round. So if you're like me, try this look out and, you know, tag me in it and all that, and I will repost you. Also, comment below and let me know what other type of content you guys want to see from me, because I am always listening. I'm reading your comments. I'm also texting back. So shoot me a text. Tell me what you want to see. I really do want to know, and I want to create the type of content that you guys love to watch. And with that being said, make sure you guys subscribe, and if you repost this video on your story or whatever, I'll repost you.
Take me back to Manhattan, back to the city where the magic happens.